Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara, and today's video is going to be my February housing market update. As always, I'm going to be splitting up this video into a few different sections, those being price, inventory, mortgages, local news, and other news. In today's video, we're going to be diving into housing affordability and where it might be heading in 2023. Alright, let's start out with price on a national level. I'm going to start out with a couple statistics that, quite frankly, are a little bit depressing, but then I'm going to switch into some that show that there is a silver lining to the current market. Due to the rise in interest rates over the past year, it costs more to purchase a home than rent a home in 95% of the US. In addition, sale prices of existing homes have climbed in nearly 90% of metro areas in Q4 of 2022. If you've been watching my videos for a while, this probably doesn't come as too big of a surprise because I have been saying that home prices have been increasing and they're unlikely to drop significantly anytime soon. Additionally, the median sale price for single-family existing homes in the US has climbed 4% to just over $375,000 in a quarter where mortgage rates hit 20-year highs. Now, I probably know what you're thinking, and that is, well, this isn't really great news, and what's the silver lining? Well, purchasing power is actually getting a little bit better. Since mortgage rates have dropped from their peak of around 7%, buyers can now buy homes that are roughly 84 square feet larger than they were able to in October if they're keeping with a $3,000 monthly payment. Now, I know, 84 square feet is not very much, and $3,000 a month is quite a big amount. So that was really just used as an example to keep the monthly payment the same. If we look at places like Salt Lake City, Memphis, Minneapolis, and even Denver, their purchasing power has increased by right around 350 square feet. Unfortunately, I don't have any statistics for Asheville in regards to this. Speaking of monthly payment, buyers with a monthly budget of around $2,500 can now afford a $400,000 home for the first time since September of last year. Unfortunately, they have about $95,000 less in buying power compared to the beginning of last year when rates were around 3.5%, but they're still better off than they were a few months ago, and things are heading in the right direction. Let's talk a little bit now about price on a local level. The average sale price in the Asheville region is up 8.3% year over year to right around $450,000. The median sale price in the Asheville region is up 5.9% year over year to right around $360,000. Now again, if you've been watching my videos for a while, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise. I've said many times that the Asheville market is a very strong market, and I don't really see prices coming down anytime soon, or at least in any significant amount. The prediction is that prices will start to stabilize this year and maybe decrease a little bit, but nothing substantial. A big reason for this is very low inventory. Speaking of, let's talk about inventory on a national level. The month supply of inventory is currently at around 2.7. Now, what does month supply of inventory actually mean? Well, this number is calculated by taking the number of homes for sale at the end of any given month divided by the average monthly sales over the past 12 months. I've talked about this number in various videos in the past where I've mentioned what is truly considered a buyer's market, seller's market, and neutral market. And I have shared that, believe it or not, we are still in a seller's market. Even though the current market looks very different than it did from last year, it is true, we are in a seller's market. And what we saw last year and in 2021 was really, really extreme. We are slowly working our way towards a neutral market, but we're not there yet. Alright, let's talk about inventory on a local level. In the Asheville region, listings are down 7.6% compared to a year ago. It's common for there not to be as many listings in the winter months. However, I believe that the reason this winter is even a little bit worse than last winter has a lot to do with mortgage rates having increased so much. And as I was saying earlier, the purchasing power for home buyers isn't as great this January as it was last January, and this is something that sellers are realizing. So there aren't as many homes coming up on the market because demand is less. Of course, there will always be some sellers out there that have to sell, whether it's due to a job relocation, moving to be closer to family, or some other reason. So I was just saying a moment ago how the month's supply of inventory on a national level is around 2.7. Well, in Asheville, it's almost 1 month less than that. So the number for Asheville is 1.8. This isn't too surprising, as the Asheville market is quite competitive, and the statistics here don't always line up with national statistics. Alright, let's talk a little bit about mortgages. Mortgage rates on average have dropped to right around 6.15%, which is the lowest level that we have seen since September of last year. Many predictions for mortgage rates this year are that they're going to stabilize and possibly even drop a little bit further. So I mentioned this in the last video that I put out called Tea Chats with Cara, but if you're considering purchasing a home but you don't want to buy when interest rates are high and there might be a chance of them dropping, you do in many cases have the option to refinance your loan when rates come down so that you can lock in that lower rate. There's a saying in the real estate world called marry the house but date the rate. In other words, stick with the house, but you don't necessarily have to keep that interest rate, especially not for the whole 30-year term. Alright, let's move on to some local news. Mountain True has paired up with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services to provide grants for qualifying property owners for failing septic systems. I'm sure some of you out there with septic systems know how expensive they can be if they need large repairs to be done or fail completely. This grant is a great way to help people pay some of these large expenses. There are, however, various qualifications that you need for this grant. For example, property owners' total income cannot exceed 80% of the median income for the area. Additionally, liquid reserves cannot exceed 50% of household income. If you're interested in this grant, I'll leave a link in the description box so that you can learn more about it. I was also thinking about doing a video on grants like this and other similar programs. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Another bit of local news is that Duke Energy has proposed the idea of building a 9.5 megawatt solar panel at their current natural gas plant just outside of Asheville. I know that sometimes solar and other renewable energy sources are a bit controversial, but for me personally, I do think that it's pretty exciting and interesting to see companies consider these options as viable. This is another topic I've actually considered making a video on, talking about solar and the pros and cons of that, or maybe green building and what's all involved with that. If that's something you're interested in as well, leave me a comment down below and let me know. Alright, let's end out the video with some other news. According to a Redfin report, 25% of prospective home buyers were looking to move to a new part of the country in the last few months of 2022. I know that a couple years ago, during kind of the heat of the pandemic, we saw a lot of people moving out of cities, moving to more suburban areas, and really just moving to different states that they ultimately wanted to be living in anyways, but the pandemic kind of gave them a good excuse to work from home and move to actually where they wanted to live. I'm curious to know if you're actually part of this percentage, so comment down below where you're currently living and if you're looking to move to a new place. I also quickly want to mention that if you do not already have a copy of my free home buyer guide, please feel free to reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to email that over to you. And also, if you're a current homeowner and prospective seller, I'd be more than happy to run a comparative market analysis for you on your property to let you know what it might sell for in today's market. I'll leave my contact info in the description box below, as well as at the end of this video. Alright everyone, well don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with your family and friends, and I will see you very soon in the next one.